Hello everybody and welcome to day 4 of our May Art Challenge. I'm going to show you how easy it is to paint pine trees today. And we're going to start off by taping again, but I wanted to show you, you can just use regular clear tape if you don't have fancy washi tape or artist tape or whatever. So just taping off a regular border here as opposed to kind of the Polaroid taping off that I've done in past videos using size 6 and size 2 round brushes today. But you just use whatever brush you have, whatever brush feels comfortable to you. My paper is Arches. I've got all that in the intro video that you can find in my Made Art Challenge playlist. I am just coming in with my brush that is wet with just a little bit of green on it because that helps you see what I'm doing. It also helps me see what I'm doing. You want to just wet the paper so that it glistens, but not so that there's any puddling. I'm coming in with a diluted mixture of my green, and I'm just painting in kind of a couple little slopey hills in the background. We're going to work light to dark, so this is going to be our lightest coat. And let that completely dry before we start our pine trees. And now we'll have a little bit more color on our brush and less water, and that will be the case for each layer. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm tapping, just tapping my brush back and forth, filling in the white space as I see fit, and you just got to play. There is no right way to do this, no wrong way to do this. You just play until you like the way your tree looks, okay? And I'm going to show you a couple different ways. For this one, I'm going to start with adding kind of a trunk, just a very faint guideline for me. And I'm just going to zigzag back and forth, making lines, leaving lots of space between these branches. And I really like the way that one looks. And like I said, I'm kind of going on a slope here. These are going to be trees way off into the distance and very light. They'll dry very light. And I think you'll like the look. Now, if you're new to pine trees, you don't have to try to also work on values and have this be the background. Just take a sheet of watercolor paper and practice over and over pine trees. You don't have to try to layer or anything like that. Just practice the zigzagging and the tapping and filling in and leaving white space. Okay, let that layer completely dry, and we're going to come in with the next layer. Starting with a guideline again, that just helps me. Now that top branch, I got way too much paint in it, and I'm going to show you how to soak that up a little bit. And what we're going to do after I just zigzag back and forth here, I'm going to tap my brush on my paper towel so it's dry-ish, and it just soaks it right up like a sponge. And then just move, while this one is still wet, you can just move right into the next one because this is going to be on the same layer as this one. So it's okay if they blend together a little bit. It's all good if they're on the same layer. And this is going to be a lot of repetition in this painting. There's repetition, but there's also playing and experimenting because I don't do any tree exactly the same as the other one. Now, for this layer, I want you to remember that this layer exists because I'm going to paint over it with some of them showing in the background, but I will be coming in later to darken them up just a little bit. And it might look like I'm adding a new layer behind another layer, but in reality, I'll just be darkening this layer a little bit later. All right, on this tree, leaving a little more space, just trying to be free with my zigzags, and also trying to remember I'm on a slope here. And so just remembering that slope as I finish off the bottom of the trees. Okay, that has completely dried, and now I'm going to paint another layer on top. And you can see we're getting darker now with each layer. Granted, that previous layer I just did kind of went lighter than the one before it. So that's why I'm going to come in later and darken it. You can always do that, you know. That's one of the cool things about watercolors is you just come in and layer by layer you can fix things that don't look right to you and just play and have fun. Have I said that before? I think I have. All right, so I don't know if you can tell when you add the dark colors in front, it really just pulls them towards us, and those first trees that we did are looking more and more in the background, and also the bigger we get with the trees as well. And I'm not looking at any references. I don't have a plan in mind about sizes, and I just like to vary the sizes. And I also like to make sure it's not like tallest to shortest or shortest to tallest. I'm just trying to play and give it some variation. You can see the top part of that tree is darker than the bottom, so I just added some more color and fixed it real quick. And added a little bit of paint to the slope, and now I'm coming in with a clean wet brush underneath that slope and just pulling that color down a little bit to soften it, and also all the way to the edge just to make it its own little hill in the background. Well, it will be in the background here in a minute. That's all dry, and so we're coming in with what will be our final layer, and the tallest tree here, giving myself a guideline so that I don't have a super slanted tree. And this one, you can see I'm leaving a lot of space in between the branches, and I really like it and really wish I would have left it like this because I think it's really pretty. But you'll see in a little bit, I had to mess with it and just making it darker yet because I want there to be lots of contrast in comparison to the other layers. And here I'm tweaking a little. I don't mind those tweaks, but in a little bit, I'm going to tweak way too much. It still looks good. I still am happy with the final result, but it's just overworking is a thing, and it happens. But again, painting this small, that's one of the benefits. One of the things I love about painting small is that I can just play. I can do a 10-minute little pine tree exercise and then realize, oh, I wish I would have left more white space, or I wish I would have used a different color or more contrast, that sort of thing. And here I'm just softening up the bottoms of those trees and bringing that color all the way down so they look like they are in the foreground on their own hill, and just adding more color so that it matches our trees a little bit better. And while I continue to do that, I am just going to tell you, I'm using good paper here. This is Arches 100% cotton paper, and it's 9 by 12 inches. So if you watched my intro video, you saw me, I cut this into 12 3 by 3 inch squares, which just gives me freedom to play and not feel like I'm breaking the bank. Okay, that layer is completely dry, and here's where I'm coming in and darkening up that layer that I told you to remember about. I wanted it to be a little bit darker than that first layer we did and a little lighter than the one on top of it. So you'll see I'm going to tweak that as well here, but still just darkening that layer I told you to remember about. And now that it's a little too similar to the next layer, I'm darkening that one as well. Just playing with the layers until they look right to me. And this is a good example of if you're painting and you think you're finished and you don't like what you see, so you scrap it or whatever, just play with adding more layers or depth with different colors. It's kind of like if you were going to scrap it anyway, what do you have to lose? Just play with it some more and see if you can kind of rescue it, so to speak. I find that most paintings are rescuable. Now, do I think this painting is going into a gallery? No, I do not. But guess what? That's not my goal here. Our goal for this month is to make more art in May, and that's what we're doing. We're practicing and we're having fun, and we're creating art pieces that maybe they're not going to go into a gallery, but maybe you can brighten somebody's day with it. I recently gave a painting that somebody liked, one of my little paintings, and I put it on those little easels that I showed you, and I just gave it to her as a gift, and she loved it. And I don't know about you, but I don't have a huge attachment to my paintings. Like, some of them are meaningful to me, and some of them I'm just practicing, and I'm happy with the results. But the one I was just telling you about that I gave my friend, it was a few videos ago, my ocean waves, and she and her husband have a favorite vacation destination that they go to. And on her desk at work, she's got a container full of seashells, and I want to say a photo of maybe their favorite vacation spot. Anyway, this little painting that I gave her fit in perfectly there. She sent me a photo of it all together, and it just was so sweet. I loved it. I love that she loves it, and it warms my heart that she even wanted anything I did. So, all right, this little portion I'm going to speed up because this is where I fill everything in that I wish I would have left alone, but that's okay. All right, once that's all done, I'm going to take the tape off, reveal our great little border here, and sign our artwork if you so choose to sign your artwork. It kind of gives it a nice little finishing touch. And there we have it. Our blue one, our green one. Which is your favorite? I personally prefer the blue, but you could do pink or purple trees if you want. Sky's the limit. Okay, thanks for joining me for day 4, and I hope to see you tomorrow for day 5.